Hey there everybody, it's Cade from Geek Talks. I'm just doing my second vlog, I think is what this is. Yeah, Marcus is having me do more than I actually expected to do, so we'll see how that goes. I got here my This Week in Geek, so let's go ahead and look at that really fast. Kinda geeky, kinda sad at the same time, but you know, oh well. Basically what this is Robin Williams is selling his, all of his bicycles that he had been collecting for years are on auction right now. It's expected to raise somewhere around $200,000, and it's actually really exciting. It's a little sad because obviously he passed away and everything. It's Robin Williams, he's awesome. If you don't like Robin Williams, I'm sorry, you're missing out. What's really cool about a lot of this is he donated to a lot of charities. He also rode in different bicycle competitions for different charities. I had to think of the word, that was weird. Bicycle's a hard word apparently. Who knew? This week I couldn't find a lot that wasn't space related, because that's kinda what I go for. Still very interesting. I really like Robin Williams. It's too bad that he passed away, but it's an exciting thing to see that his memory is still living on. So, that was This Week in Geek. It's now time for... What's it time for? Wow, this is actually more entertaining than I thought it would be. Anyways, it's now time for the main part of my vlog, which actually has a point this week. Today, we're going to be talking about communication. And I know that doesn't sound like all that important, but like, think about it. If you can't communicate, how is anything going to be done? I was thinking about this yesterday because I got out of a staff meeting with the staff that I'm on, and we've been together 3 months just about, and obviously in that span of time, a lot can happen. So we sat down in a little circle and had a talking stick, you know, like they do back in like first grade or whatever. But anyways, we passed that around. We just kind of talked about what was bothering us or what we thought was really good. There were things going on that I had no idea were happening. That's not very conducive to things actually working out, you know? I was thinking that it's such a fundamental piece that we just take for granted. Communication is so important to everything we do every day. Whether you're sitting here learning about communication, like right now, you know, hopefully I'm conveying enough information in this, or going along and trying to convince people of a policy to put on a ballot. It's important that you should know, but in case you don't know, election day is coming up. So, I want to talk about communication, and yeah, communication is really, really important. Think about the entire world 20 years ago. We used to just have landlines. Think about that, landlines. Look how far we've come. You can take your phone just about anywhere. And that's how connected we are. And so communication ties directly into connection. If we don't have the ability to communicate, we don't have the ability to connect with other people. And connection is how we form bonds, it's how we grow as people. Everybody communicates in different ways. You know, some people communicate very directly, you know, and that's great for them. Some people take a little bit more time to get to the point, and it's important to know how different people communicate in order to communicate effectively to them. We took this test yesterday in my staff meeting. I had to figure out which way we communicated, and it kind of gives you a rough idea. I'm not surprised that what I got was controller/director, which controller sounds really, really bad. It basically just means I like taking charge. I also realized that there's a lot of people on my staff that aren't that way. In fact, actually, only 2 of us on the entire staff are controller/director. Most of the people actually on our staff are promoters and socializers, which means they get along with people really well, they promote things, they are entertainers, things like that. I enjoy things like that, but I really, really like getting down to the nitty-gritty of things and doing that, as opposed to, well, here's a little tangent, and here's this. I don't know if you guys can tell, but if you listen to Geek Talks, you'll be able to hear that a lot of times. I try and get Marcus back on track, and that's just the personality I am. I love tangents, because tangents can take you places that you wouldn't have normally gone, but if there's a topic at hand that you really should be talking about, then I try to stay on that. So, how do you communicate effectively? It really changes for everybody, technically. I like being talked to as directly as possible. Cut all the crap out of it and just give me the facts, give me things that I can deal with, you know, figures. I'm an engineering student, so like things in my brain line up very specifically, and if you're talking to me and that doesn't happen, then I'm just like, what are you doing? Why? Other people don't communicate like that. A lot of people think with more emotion than they do with logic, and so sometimes you have to do more of an empathetic reasoning and an empathetic communication. So you have to assure them that things are going to be okay. You have to make sure that you have to tell them how it's going to benefit them or things like that. Communication is literally, I think, what boils down to everything. I mean, our learning styles, that has to do with how things are communicated towards us. Our job profession, you know, different jobs require different forms of communication. They think of how a news reporter has to communicate with people as opposed to how someone like a scientist has to communicate with people. They're completely different communication styles. I don't think if you tried to have one talk to the other, it would actually work out very well. I really don't know entirely how to like ground this and put it to a final piece. All I know is just like communication is one of the biggest conversations you could probably, well, wow, that was cliche. Communication is one of the biggest conversations you can have, of course. But it's really one of the most important topics, I think, in our society, because communication took us from Homo erectus, like, whatever, to, wow, that was really dumb. It took us from that to where we are today. And that's just, it's crazy that communication allowed us to grow so much, and it's just such an important piece, and I think people have forgotten that. We take it for granted. That being said, I think that's just pretty much everything I got for you guys. Hopefully you like this video, and stay tuned for Marcus's, Michaela's coming up next. Thanks. See you guys.